Hello, hello, hello. We are back after a little short hiatus. I am Jordan, the Fantasy Fanatic YouTube channel here. And today, we're going to be talking about the game last night. Kind of like my recap of what I saw fantasy football-wise. And obviously, with the title of this live stream, really the main thing is the tight ends. So, as you can see with the tight ends that we have, two top tight ends being drafted this year, Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. And after watching last night, if you drafted either one of these guys, you just have a little bit of worry, a little bit of concern due to the fact that these tight ends have been dominant pretty much their whole careers. And now we're seeing maybe somewhat of a decline for both of them. Mark Andrews is a little bit more concerning than Travis Kelce, but with Travis Kelce, seeing Noah Gray get him more involved in the offense, seeing maybe age is starting to catch up to Travis Kelce. Who knows? And with Mark Andrews, really the big concern is seeing the surgence of Isaiah Likely last night and him putting up an absolute monster performance. He was a foot away from putting up an absolute absurd performance week one. But either way, 12 targets out of the backfield, 9 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. Could have been 2 touchdowns. You're a little concerned. And now it's looking like, Mark Andrews was just doing a lot of blocking. He looked like a left tackle yesterday. And not saying that it's going to be like this all year, because obviously Mark Andrews, he's 29. He's still he's getting up there in age, but he still should be putting up some great numbers. And obviously we think that he's still probably trying to get his feet under him after that injury he had last year. But Isaiah Likely looked great last night. Looked like Lamar Jackson's favorite target out of all the receivers too. Zay Flowers did get a lot of targets as well, which is what we expected. We knew Zay Flowers was going to come in and be one of Lamar Jackson's favorite targets, but he only had 37 yards, 6 receptions, but he did have 10 targets. So you know that the targets are going to be there for Zay Flowers, because there's really no one else in this offense that is worth starting wide receiver-wise in a week-to-week basis. Rashad Bateman, yes, he had 5 targets, but another thing that was very interesting was seeing Justice Hill get 8 targets out of the backfield, 6 receptions for 52 yards. That's very solid, but he only got 1 carry. So, obviously, Derrick Henry's going to get more carries than Justice Hill, but we'll kind of revert back to the tight ends. So, am I concerned? I did not draft any Mark Andrews. I did not draft any Travis Kelce this year. And the reason why is because, for one, mostly they didn't really – I wasn't really in any good positions first off to draft them, or I would have. But I drafted – more Sam Laporta. I drafted Jake Ferguson in another league, Trey McBride in a couple of my underdogs, and then a few other tight ends that I kind of think should have some pretty decent years, such as, maybe Goddard could have a great year. Luke Musgrave could have a great year. We'll kind of see. We'll just kind of play that out. David Njoku. I'm a big fan of Ferguson, though. I think Ferguson might have a great year for Dallas, especially with really CD being the only guy that we know of right now that would be someone to start on a week-to-week basis, wide receiver-wise, and Ferguson might get more targets. But definitely a concern with both of these tight ends. Really starting with Kelce, obviously we do think that he might have just put up a subpar performance just this 1 week. I mean, he could have a great week next week. He could get a touchdown. I mean, he's still going to be definitely a red zone target, no doubt. But it was just kind of weird seeing how the Kansas City offense looked last night. Ball got spread out to a lot of different receivers, but Rashee Rice is looking like the main guy. And that's what I like to see. I'm very high on Rashee Rice this year. I think he's definitely going to be Mahomes' favorite target. And then obviously we saw Xavier Worthy break out last night too. Yes, he only got 3 targets, but he got 2 touchdowns. So that was really cool to see, especially basically dusting was it Kyle Hamilton? I can't remember who it was that he dusted, but just absolutely dusted the guy. Wide open touchdown. Got to see his speed. A little bit of Tyreek Hill vibes with him in a way, just because of how fast he is. But he only got 3 targets, so I just wouldn't expect Xavier Worthy to be someone to start every week. After this performance, though, there's no reason for you maybe not to start him in a flex spot for sure. But I think Rashee Rice kind of just turned into a must-start wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. For your fantasy football team every week. I think Rashee Rice is going to be the main guy. Even when Hollywood Brown comes back, I think that that's just going to open up more opportunities for Rashee Rice. He's definitely the best midfield target that they have by far. He dominates the slant routes. There's really, you don't really get any. You're not going to have a lot of midfield work with Xavier Worthy or Hollywood Brown when they both come back because they're both going to be deep threats. So it's really going to open up the offense, and it's really going to open up a lot of more opportunities for Rashee Rice to get a lot more volume compared to these other guys. So I think Rashee Rice is definitely going to be the main guy to start on this Kansas City Chiefs offense. I would still continue to start Travis Kelce. I wouldn't be too concerned. It is concerning he only got 4 targets, but like I said, he is getting up there in age, and maybe we kind of saw a little bit of him having a decline last night, but we don't want to overreact too much. It's only 1 game, and I do want to kind of say the same for Mark Andrews too, but it's just kind of crazy. Isaiah Likely just had an absolute monster game last night, and definitely for people who drafted Mark Andrews as high as they did, it is concerning because some people think that he could have been the number 1 tight end this year if he stays healthy. And now it's looking like, well, Isaiah Likely is kind of looking like he might be Lamar Jackson's favorite target going forward. I mean, so much volume for him. 41 pass attempts for Lamar Jackson last night. 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 16 carries for 122 yards. Just an absolute huge fantasy performance from Lamar Jackson, which is what we would expect from him. And man, he could have had another touchdown easily last night if Isaiah Likely was just a little bit more in the end zone and didn't have his foot on the line, or him just completely missing Zay Flowers. An absolute one of the worst passes I've probably ever seen. I could not believe that he missed Zay Flowers that much on that end zone target. He was wide open. So Zay Flowers could have had a touchdown last night too, and that would have boosted his fantasy performance. And this game would have went into overtime. Either went into overtime or most likely it looked like they were actually going to go for 2 whenever they thought that Isaiah Likely catch was a touchdown. So they were going for the win, I think. Because honestly, there's not really a lot of teams that want to play the Chiefs in overtime because they have a really good record in overtime games. So, but yes, we can start talking about a little bit about the running backs too. So Derrick Henry last night, man, first drive looked great. I mean, seeing Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the backfield and them, I mean, defenses just could not. The Chiefs' defense could not figure it out like that first drive. It was actually insane how productive that first drive that the Ravens had was. And it just shows that when you have basically two running backs in the field like that, it's not easy to defend. And that first drive, I was like, holy shit, this is probably going to be a big problem for a lot of defenses going forward. And then it just kind of disappeared. He only had 3.5 yards per carry, 13 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown. So didn't put up an absolute great fantasy performance. It's not like it was terrible or anything, but obviously it's a little bit concerning. Derrick Henry just didn't look too quick last night. And he only had 2 targets in the backfield. He's not going to be catching a lot of passes, so that kind of hurts his fantasy stock too. But you did see Justice Hill break out last night in the passing game, which this is just one game, so I don't want to overreact on Justice Hill too much, but I think Justice Hill is definitely going to be that running back that is going to be getting a lot of pass catching. So that could boost his fantasy value up just a little bit. But, him only getting 1 carry, he's not going to be getting a lot of carries in this offense. So he really is just primarily going to be a pass catcher in this offense going forward. So I don't think Justice Hill is anyone worth starting. Yes, maybe you could put him in a bench spot just in case you need like a handcuff or something like that. I don't think Justice Hill is a bad guy to have on your bench. But let's not overreact too much about him having a pretty decent performance. Putting up, I think he put up more fantasy numbers than Derrick Henry did last night. So, and then we go to the Chiefs side. We got Isaiah Pacheco. He didn't really have a good productive day on the ground either. Only 15 carries. He had 15 carries, 45 yards, only an average of 3 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. But what you saw with him is he had his pass catching ability kind of come into play too. He only got 3 targets, but I think he will get more in some games. But 2 receptions for 33 yards, so that's 5 points right there. If you're doing half PPR, that's about 4 points. So that's pretty solid. Pretty decent performance for Isaiah Pacheco. This is what we expect from him in this offense. He's going to be definitely getting both sides of the ball involved for sure with the pass catching and the running ability. But he did play a pretty strong defense in the Ravens last night. So they did kind of limit his running ability for sure. And then now we'll go to Mahomes. We didn't talk about Mahomes yet. 291 yards, very efficient with 28 attempts, 20 completions. Very Mahomes-like. He did have 1 interception, only 1 touchdown. So not really the best fantasy performance for Mahomes, but he just didn't get a lot of touchdowns, unfortunately. That was just the main reason he didn't really get a lot of fantasy points last night. And so we're looking at these wide receivers. Obviously, Rashee Rice got the bulk of the targets, and Xavier Worthy 3 targets, Noah Gray 3 targets, Kelsey 4 targets, Pacheco 3, Watson 1, P. Ryan 2. Mahomes with 1 target. I don't know if y'all saw that play, but it's like he threw the ball, it got batted, and then he ended up catching it and gained like 2 yards from it. That was pretty cool. And then obviously Juju 1 target, didn't catch anything. He's irrelevant on this offense probably. And then we go for the Baltimore side of things. You got Isaiah Likely with 12 targets, and then you got Zay Flowers with 10. Bateman had 5. Hill had 8. Andrews 2. Aguilar 1, and then Henry 2. So yeah, pretty much the guys that we all expected to have pretty decent fantasy performances when it came to the wide receivers did. But tight ends obviously is the talk of the town right now, and people who have Kelsey and Mark Andrews are a little bit worried right now, understandably so. But let's not overreact too much. Really, the biggest concern is probably Mark Andrews. I wouldn't be too concerned about Kelsey. But with Mark Andrews, that is very concerning, only having 2 receptions for 14 yards, only getting 2 targets. And now it's getting to the point where we're like, hey, is Isaiah Likely, is he going to be the number 1 guy now? And if so, is he worth starting over Mark Andrews? That is a conversation that we should be having right now, especially after this monster performance he put up. So I think if you have Isaiah Likely on your team, and say you have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, who do you start? I mean, after that performance Isaiah Likely put out, I mean, you might start Isaiah next week. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Definitely was not expecting to see this. Great game though. Very great start to the NFL season. And tonight we have another great game. We got Packers and Eagles in São Paulo, Brazil. So that's going to be very fun to watch. I'm excited to watch that game tonight. Hopefully Jordan Love pops off. But yes, I'm very excited to watch that game tonight. Should be very interesting. But yeah, what a great game, man. Great start to the season. Went down to the wire. Ended off on just a barely not a touchdown for Isaiah Likely. Man, what a game that was. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll go to the schedule real quick and we'll check out some of these games that we got going on. Obviously, we got the Green Bay-Philadelphia game. My goodness, look at how expensive these tickets are. $872 is the lowest ticket amount for this game. That is crazy. Wow. So then now we're going into Sunday. Can't wait to watch some Red Zone. Can't wait to hear Scott Hansen, dude. He's going to be fucking killing it like he usually does. So looking at these games, and I'll go ahead and have my picks for these games too, who I think is going to win. So we got Pittsburgh at Atlanta, 12 o'clock kickoff. I am kind of leaning towards Atlanta, but I did make a bet that I wanted to get a couple upsets, and so I picked Pittsburgh to win this game. Which this was before we saw the preseason action. I didn't really realize how concerning their offense would look in the preseason, but man, did it look concerning. So now that bet doesn't look that well. But anyways, this is going to be a really great game, though. I think it will be pretty close. I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to definitely play really well. I'm very interested to see how Atlanta's offense looks in this game with Kirk Cousins as their QB now. Couple new weapons on offense. You got Darnell Mooney. I think Drake London's going to have a big year. But I think I'm going to just continue saying with my bet, this is a hot take, but I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this game. I think their defense is really going to show in this game. I think they're going to limit Kirk Cousins just a little bit in this game. It won't be too high scoring, but I do think Pittsburgh could definitely start the year off 1-0. Arizona at Buffalo. This is going to be a great game, too. I'm excited to see this Arizona offense with Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray fully healthy, Trey McBride. And then we're honestly interested in seeing how Buffalo is going to look this year. Losing pretty much all their weapons on offense. Brand new wide receiver core with Curtis Samuel in there. And the rookie Keon Coleman. So we're going to be interested to see how this offense looks. I got Buffalo in this game. At Buffalo, it's very tough to play there. Arizona, yes, they do play better on the road for some reason. They are terrible at home. I don't really completely understand. But I do think Buffalo wins this game. Do they cover their line? I don't really think so. Tennessee at Chicago. This is going to be a very interesting game to watch, too. With Tennessee, got Calvin Ridley there now. Got Tony Pollard. This is going to be very interesting to see how that backfield looks for Tennessee. And then, honestly, the talk of the town is Chicago. How good are they going to be this year with Caleb Williams, brand new wide receiver core as well with the additions of Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen. DJ Moore still there as well. I have Chicago winning this game at Chicago. I think Chicago will win. I think Caleb Williams will have a good first game to start his season. And Chicago will start the season 1-0. New England at Cincinnati. This game, I believe I just took the under on points. I don't think this is going to be that high scoring of a game. Mostly just because of the fact I don't think New England's going to put a lot of points up, unfortunately. Our offense does not look that great. It is going to be fun to see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, if he plays, which we still don't know yet. It's still up in the air. But to see Joe Burrow fully healthy back, I do have Cincinnati winning this game. I don't think New England has any chance, unfortunately. I wish they did, but I really don't think we do. But I think our defense will play pretty decent, so I think that'll limit the scoring for the Bengals, and I think that it'll be covered under 40. Got Houston at Indianapolis. Houston looking like they could be one of the best offenses in the league this year with the addition of Stephon Diggs. Indianapolis, this game might be pretty good. We'll see how Anthony Richardson plays. Didn't look the best in the preseason, but I think that this could be a very high-scoring game. I got Houston winning this game. I think that they will get the win. But Indianapolis, don't be shocked if they end up pulling out a win here at home. If Anthony Richardson plays very well for him. It doesn't look like what he looked like in the preseason. Jacksonville, Miami. This should be a pretty decent game too. I got Miami winning this game. Interested to see how Jacksonville looks with no more Calvin Ridley, with the addition of Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr., and then with Miami, obviously very excited to see their offense. This could be another high-scoring game as well. I think Miami pulls it out, though. I think they get the win. I do believe that their offense is better than Jacksonville's, and I don't think Jacksonville's defense is going to be able to keep up. I don't think Jacksonville's offense will keep up either, so I got Miami in that game. Carolina Panthers at the Saints. I think that I picked the Saints in this game. Actually, I think I picked the under in this game too. I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring game just because, for one, I still don't have much belief in the Panthers' offense. I don't really think they're going to do much. With the Saints' offense, they don't really seem like they're going to be too of a high-scoring team as well, so I picked the under in this game. But I do have the Saints winning this game. I do think that they win at home. Minnesota at New York. Definitely interested to see how Minnesota looks with Sam Darnold as their QB, Aaron Jones, and the addition of the backfield. I think I picked Minnesota to win this game at New York. Very close line, though. I do think that the Giants, I just don't really think they have enough weapons with their offense to really keep up. But their defense could limit Minnesota a lot for sure, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But I do have Minnesota winning this game. We got Raiders, Chargers up next to start the afternoon window. I think that I picked Vegas to win this game just because of the fact that I don't really know what to expect from the Chargers this year. They have no weapons on offense, really. We don't know who's going to be the main guy here. Brand new backfield. This is just a whole new offense in general, and I just feel like it's gonna kind of affect them the first couple weeks of the season, just so they can kind of fill themselves out, and maybe they can end up being better going forward at the end of the season. But for right now, I'm not really too high on the Chargers to start the season. So give me Vegas. I think I picked their. I'm pretty sure I picked their just straight up their money line. So. Denver at Seattle. I got Seattle in this game. I think Denver, they just don't really look too great on paper. I think the Seahawks look better on paper, personally. And playing in Seattle is never an easy game. So I do have Seattle winning this game. But I am interested to see how Bo Nix plays. Interested to see how this offense in Denver is going to look. Dallas at the Browns. This is going to be a very good game, I think. I have Dallas in this game. I don't think I picked the Browns. I think the Dallas will start off the season 1-0. Really, I'm interested to see how both defenses look, because both defenses were some of the top defenses in the league last year. This is going to be a very low-scoring game, I think. I don't think Cleveland's going to put up a lot of points. I don't think Dallas is going to put up a lot of points with how good the Browns' defense is. But I think Dallas will pull this win out. I think that they definitely have better weapons on offense with CD, especially, and Jake Ferguson. So Washington at Tampa Bay. I think I picked Tampa Bay in this game. I think Tampa Bay definitely has more experience. Washington with the new rookie QB and Jaden Daniels. They don't really look that great on paper offensively compared to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a lot of good weapons on their team. I think Tampa Bay will start the season off 1-0. And then we got the Rams at Lions. This is the highest scoring game of the week, I believe. I picked Detroit to win this game. Going to be very high scoring, though, for sure. I think that Detroit's offense is going to blow up. I think the Rams' offense will blow up, too. But very interested to see how Detroit starts this season off. I think they will start it off 1-0. And that'll be our evening game for Sunday. And then last but not least, we got the Monday Banger. We got the Jets and the 49ers. I got the 49ers in this game. I do think that they just have way too many weapons on offense for them not to win this game. And it will be interesting to see how the Jets play with Aaron Rodgers fully healthy, just to kind of see how their offense looks. But I do think that the 49ers defense will limit their offense, and I think that they will pull out this win. So that's going to be a great Monday night game. Very excited to watch that. But yeah, that's going to be our first week of the NFL season. Very excited to see how it goes. And then I'll go into the league that I'm in real quick and kind of look at some of these matchups. Let's go and look at this real quick. All right, so for right now, obviously we already had some people pop off for teams, so kind of already have a little heads up going on. For mine, God, dude, the Chiefs defense played terrible last night. Did not put up great numbers, unfortunately, giving me -2 points. So that really sucks. That's not a good start for my team. Not looking good right now. But hopefully I'll have some players pop off, give me a chance to win week 1. But yeah, I think Andy's already got a good head start on me. Carson, Jace, this is going to be a great matchup too. But Lamar Jackson already putting up 30 to start the week for Carson's huge. So Carson's probably going to pull out a dub to start the year. Mark Andrews obviously not putting up great numbers, really hurt Jace. Dylan and Seth, this is going to be a good matchup too. Seth started with Travis Kelce, so that's already a little bit of a downside to start the game or the matchup here, but might have to lean on Dylan's side on this one. I think Dylan might pull out the win. Kyle, Connor, this will be a great matchup too. Very excited to see this. Definitely very close. Looking at these teams, I think maybe I think I'm going to ride with Connor's team. I think Connor will get the dub. And then we got Bryce, Bert. I think Bert's going to pull out the win this week on Bryce. It will be a good matchup, though. I'm very interested to see how this looks. You got Chance and Jack. I think Jack's going to pull out the win on this one. Tuck and Easton. Looks like Tuck's already got a pretty decent head start on him. Pretty decent performances from all the Kansas City players. And then Rashee Rice did really well for Easton, too. This will be a close matchup. I think Tuck might pull out the win, though. So, but yeah, we got some great matchups going on this week, guys. I am excited to get this NFL season started. And then we will be back later this week. Or later next week, sorry, for the recaps on all the games that we had going on. Also go through all these as well. But appreciate everyone coming and tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video, and we will be